whatever happened in Manipur, if the same thing, unfortunately, or the God should not do it, if that happens in Delhi or in UP or in Bihar, don't you think that there will be instant result or there will be instant response from the government?
This is not important. This is also important because the chances of militancy, the stone pebbling, is so much high. In the region of northeast.
Philosophy or our thoughts don't match to India. So we want Kashmir, Azad Kashmir. They are asking for Azad Kashmir. Don't you think that we want to rule Kashmir or we want to connect Kashmir?
The disparity among the beliefs and the customs or tradition of the people in a state or a region is so much diverse. The power sharing agreement can be made so that the people who are in the minority class should have some solid rights to claim
state or towards that particular region.
So that's my concern is,
please.
That's why the first step should be holding the talks with the union leader of that issue of that state. For example, I talked about the Assam Accord. So the people of the Bodoland, that the persons, the community which is majority speaking of Bodo language, we should hold the talks with them why they want this, and we should tell them that we can't adhere to this, but we can do something to to negotiate it. For example, the power sharing agreement can be done. That as we already know, in the northeast states, the disparity between the majority speaking languages people and the minority speaking language people is so much. So the power sharing agreement can be made so that the people who are in the minority class should have some solid rights to claim their resources, and they can get what they really want without being a separate state.
Maybe if they are, whatever their demand is, maybe by tying up with the complete nation or the government of India, their demands will not be fulfilled. Like for example, we take the example of Ladakh. So what is the Ladakh's demand? Ladakh's demand is that
sixth schedule में हमको चाहिए.
Sixth schedule में चाहिए, and we don't want lot of constructions and all. We want to save our environment as well. This is also one of the demand. Same way in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, I visited and explored. I just saw that there are also people like 50% here. Okay, we need development. 50% no, we don't need development. So somewhere people are divided into this, the phase of life or the decision, the choice. How can we make them sure that we are doing right for you?
How can we make sure that we are
doing right for you? Like we are doing construction, developing bridges, making railway tracks and all. These are developments.
The disparity among the beliefs and the customs or tradition of the people in a state or a region is so much diverse. We can't make everyone understand, and we can't make everything good for everyone. So we need to make sure that majority of people, I mean to say that those people who are in minority and those people who are in majority should have a better understanding among themselves. And for that, we can do awareness programs, or we can give them the requested status of in the sixth schedule. For example, the Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya and Mizoram already have it. But as we know that Sonam Wangchuk was recently arrested in the Singho border. Why was that? Because he was demanding the sixth schedule status. And why was the Indian government denying it? Because that for giving that status, we should have to work so much upon our constitution. We will be bearing so much expenses, and for that to be passed, हमको बहुत सारे resolution change करने की need पड़ेगी. तो उसके decision, what can we do is that not giving them a status of the sixth schedule, but helping them.
I'll counter here. Like you are saying that there will be extra expenditure for all these nomenclatures or giving statehoods. Yes, so what is happening? Like we are just changing the road names, the market names, the areas names, the regions names. And for this, don't you think that the government is also having to bear a lot of expenditures or expenses?
Yes, sir. I think that this is also a challenge to what the government is thinking for the sixth schedule status. But I believe that with the timeline of a government, different government thinks in different way. For example, Congress thinks in a certain way,
right?
But BJP thinks in a certain way. So I think that changing the road of the names or the places. For example, Allahabad was named as Prayagraj. So that is the thinking of the government. But
I think crores of rupees has been invested or spent on this. More than crores, right? Because all we had to change on all official sites and all a lot more.
idea of a national, for example, if you want to change the name of the road, that doesn't interest people, that interests the only government. So government make use of their funds, etc. But if we want something for the people and we are not able to bear the expenses, for example, we have just come out of the from the covid era, so our GDP is not that good also. We are already developing. So the government, I think the government is trying to avoid the unnecessary expenditure at this time, but not fully avoiding in the long run.
Okay, I have one more question, a cross question. Like whatever happened in Manipur, if the same thing, unfortunately, or the God should not do it, if that happens in Delhi or in UP or in Bihar, don't you think that there will be instant result or there will be instant response from the government?
If we see the history of India, the northeast states have always been neglected because of their
Languages or
culturality,
cultures.
or the main reason could be the insurgency from the Bangladesh and the Bhutan also. God forbid that this happens in any of the states, but the government, it was very unpleasant that the government did not take the appropriate steps in the community of Manipur. But if this happens in the metropolitan city, the government will take the actions immediately because it will show.
And now there is one more cross question. If the people of Manipur ask for different statehood or the separation, then what's wrong?
Sir, I think that's not wrong to ask, but giving them separate statehood could be a challenge to the integrity of India at the national level. Because we are not in a state to give them separate statehood. For example, when Andhra Pradesh was formed at the time of independence, but we did not give them because we thought that giving them separate statehood will make India economically as well as the fraternity between the people will be shattered. That's why it was not given to.
Thank you. Very nice answers. Very good. I had talks with some normal people. So I saw two phases of Kashmir. One phase, they were celebrating Republic Day with great enthusiasm, where they were saying, Bharat Mata ki jai, Hindustan Zindabad. And I saw it and I was very happy. And once I talked to some personal people and they said ki our culture doesn't match to India. Our philosophy or our thoughts don't match to India. So we want Kashmir, Azad Kashmir. They are asking for Azad Kashmir. Don't you think that ki we want to rule Kashmir or we want to connect Kashmir?
I also believe that most of the people feel that differently in the Kashmir, but half of them feel differently. For example, as you said, that people celebrate their Republic Days or any other cultural programs that is celebrated all over India. But there are also some people who do not support that. It could be because of their historical differences. For example, those generation who have lived from 1950 onwards until this date in which the CA was passed and the 370 was passed, they must be having contradictory opinions. But if we talk about the generation of the later generation, they won't be having such deep thoughts or deep grudges among the mainland people of India. So I think that
actually, terminizing it, or we are just, giving the terms, depression is there or anxiety is there. Because of this, we are suffering. Same way, don't you think in Kashmir, we have based multiple military people or persons. Every corner you go or every shop, every hotel you go, you see a police of Jammu and Kashmir or the army, CRPF or, any army personnel is holding the gun and standing. So don't you think that it is going to the mindset of the Kashmiris ki yaar hum to बंदूक की नोक पे रखे गए हैं, तो somewhere it can affect their mentality.
Sir, I don't think in the same way because as you see, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, they have it very different. For example, we share the LOC with China and LAC with Pakistan from Kashmir. Right. It is connected from Kashmir. So the importance of military, the importance of CRPF and all the forces that borders our border lines is so much important, and that may be the reason that the people of the north feel in the same way. But I would not say कि this is not important. This is also important because the chances of militancy, the stone pebbling, is so much high. Is so much high in the region of north as compared to any other state. So the deployment of the CRPF, the army is important and is achievable, understandable.
Good answer.
So my question